Hi, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. I'm kind of sitting this way so that you can see all three of the first months of the year's block up there on the wall behind me. Today we're going to make the log cabin quilt for the month of April. So let's get started. Okay, here is what it's going to look like when it's finished. And you know that my fabrics don't have a large distinction between the light and the dark. But this top portion up here is the lighter, and this is the darker over here on this side. So this is a light, dark, dark, light, 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 light. And this is dark, 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 dark. So this side right here is the dark side. But anyway, your fabric will make it look different. Now let me tell you the sizes of the strips. Everything is a 2.5 inch strip. So the first two little squares, which are these right here, these are 2.5 each. So you have to have two 2.5 inch squares, one light one dark one. Then you're going to need two 4.5 rectangles. Now remember, they're all 2.5, so 2.5 by 4.5. That's going to be this one and this one. Then the next one is 2.5 by 6.5. This one and this one. Then the next is 2.5 by 8.5, which is this one here, and this one here. No, I'm sorry, this one and this one. Light and the dark. And then the next to the last is a 10.5, which is this and this. And then the very last strip at the bottom is the 12.5. So just keep in mind, everything's 2.5. Starts out with two 2.5 inch blocks. The next two, and everything is a light, dark, till you get to the tail end down here, and then this one's a dark one. It goes 4.5, 6.5, 8.5, 10.5, and then this one's 12.5. That's the easiest way to remember it. You're just going up by 2 inches each. So let's get this put together. And every time you sew a seam, you have to iron it to make sure that it turns out correctly. This will be pretty fast going because it's not that hard once you've got all your pieces arranged. Keep them arranged so that you don't lose your spot when you sew them, because they've got to go in order. So let's go over to the sewing machine. So you take your two you put together, then you take the next one and sew it. And watch that seam allowance. And I'll show you how I check mine. Hold on one second. Let me get this done. I'll give you an idea what to look for. Oops. I need that. Yeah. And then what I keep, next to my sewing machine is my little 6 inch ruler. And I put it on here. And I say, yep. That's a 1/4 inch. Okay. Now I take it over here to the iron so I can iron it. I started with the two 2.5 inch squares at the top. Then I added this one. Now you add this one next to it. So I go to each end, put a pin, and then you'll put a pin in the middle where your seam is at. Alrighty. I don't know what's going on here. My pin's too close to the corner. It doesn't want to set correctly. forgetting my foot's coming up. Check that seam. Oh, see, I'm too short on my seam. Right off the bat, I made that too short. Probably because I had a problem there with my foot. My pin must have been too close to the end. So always keep my seam ripper close by. Alright, I think about right here it is a 4th. No, that whole thing is off, so let me take it out. Let's try it again. Now let's try that. Now it's correct. I don't know what the problem was before. I don't know. It's good now. I don't know. Alright, let's get it to the ironing board. Wow, was anybody paying attention? Because I just sold it to the wrong side. So I had to take it back out again. Whoops. As soon as I got finished with it and I flipped it over and looked at it, I noticed it was sewn to the wrong side. So back to the drawing board and let's do it again. Except this time let's do it to the right side. Alright. Alrighty. Oops. Now that should be on the left hand side and it is correct. Right, now I have the next side pinned on. My 1/4 of an inch looked like I got small again. I don't know why all of a sudden I want to keep sewing a scant 1/4 inch all of a sudden, and I don't get it. Then my then my thread became unthreaded again. So I had to stop and do that. Dewey might be barking here in a minute. I think the mailman came and got him worked up. Alright. Now let's see how that's doing. Better. Okay, let's iron that. As I keep adding strips, you know, I'm having more and more seams here. Let's get my hand out of the light there. So I'm putting more pins because everywhere there's a seam, I'm putting a pin. Over the ironing board again. Even on this one, even though there's not a seam, I went ahead and I put a pin in there anyway. So there's 5 in there. I'll do the same thing with the next one also. Oops. Check my seam again. Yep, 1/4 inch. Okay. Getting better. I'm going to go iron it now. Although this side only has the 1 seam, I'm still going to be putting a couple of pins in here, just to keep the 2 edges together so they don't start drifting on me, because it's such a long strip to be sewing. I'm going to go over to the ironing board and iron that. Okay, here's what it looks like when it's all finished and ironed. It has turned out really good. I hope you like this video and that you do make this log cabin. This turns out to be a beautiful quilt if you ever wanted to just make the log cabin quilt. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said before, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you for next month. Okay? Bye-bye.